are we talking to next?
I would like to talk to Derek in Georgia.
Ooh, all right.
Derek is asking about why people shift from a specific denominational view to like a more unspecific kind of like wishy-washy view, I guess, and how to talk to them about that. Derek, welcome to the show.
Hey, how you doing? Yeah, just to understand, maybe that I didn't explain myself to the call screener in a very clear way. It kind of has to do with that. Just to let you know before we continue with the conversation, I got a little bit of a language barrier, so I'm going to try to explain myself, as best as I can.
Yeah, sure. Okay, absolutely.
Okay, so for starters, I'm 51 years old. I mean, when I was, younger, back in the 80s and, the 90s, I mean, when I was asking somebody, what denomination you belong to, people probably, they were saying, I'm Pentecostal or I am Catholic or JW or whatever. And I noticed, like in the last maybe 10, 15, maybe 20 years, that people right now, like, they don't like to talk about, saying, I'm part of this denomination. Now people, they try to avoid that. They got like a different strategy right now. And, when you ask people, to what denomination you belong to? I don't follow denominations. I'm not part of a religion. I am just in a relationship with God.
Yep.
Like they change. Like they are kind of ashamed. Or they know, like, they got so much a skeleton in the closet, or let's say you're a Catholic, the bad rap that they're getting about, child molestation, all this stuff, so they don't want to say that. Or let's say they don't want to say they're Catholic, or the JWs, all these issues with shawning and all these problems that they had, that they lost, probably like half of the members throughout the years. So what I'm looking for is just like a defeating kind of counter argument to destroy that, because I use like different methods when I get into conversations with people, and I haven't found like a defeater. Like I feel like it's like when you're going fishing and this fish, you just try to catch it, but you always get away. And that's how I feel, with these people, that I haven't found like a defeater, counter argument to destroy it, because I see, why they're so evasive about this. Why in a matter of years, 20 years, 15, 20 years, they don't want to say, what they are anymore. And I don't, that's my question.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think there are two different things that I would want to bring up. And then Eric, I'm very curious to hear what you think as well here. So the first thing, this observation that it's moving from I am a Methodist to, I just have a relationship with God. I think if I'm right, this is just my hypothesis, my fringe theory, if you will, that it's becoming less of a given in society that you are going to be a religious person. And so it becomes less about I am this specific subset of religious person, because of course we're all religious, right? To being a little bit more on that defensive side of things, because the assumption is no longer that everybody is religious. And so it becomes a little bit more cagey, because people might feel like, well, if I tell someone I'm religious, I can't count on them understanding that because they're also religious. So I'm just going to be a little less forthcoming with what information I give about myself. So that could be one of the reasons why we're seeing this shift, and I've seen it as well. In terms of having a defeater to this, I actually have a little bit of a problem with the idea of a defeater here. For a couple of reasons. The first reason is I don't think that there is one defeater to every person's faith, right? There is no one magic bullet, no one argument that's going to disprove God belief for each person. Each person comes to their God belief very differently, and especially if there's somebody who calls themselves someone in a relationship with God, then it's going to be a lot more nebulous, and it's going to be a lot more based on their emotions and what God means to them personally. So having one magic bullet for all of these people who have different reasons for believing doesn't really exist, I don't think. But also, that shouldn't really be the goal, I don't think. And I know that a lot of the time it's a lot of fun to have a call with somebody who's a believer, and we have a smackdown, and then we hang up or
drop the mic.
Yeah, like it's fun to watch, and it's fun to engage in sometimes, for sure. But when you're engaging with people who believe something differently than you, it can really help that conversation forward and make it last longer, so you don't just need that one defeater. You get multiple chances to kind of make your point. If you approach it from a place of, I want to understand how you see the world and maybe identify places where I'm wrong, as opposed to, oh, I see that you believe this thing that I think is wrong. I'm gonna beat down on that, you know? So there are a couple different areas there, I think, that we got into. What are your thoughts?
Well, the reason I asked for the defeater was because it's not because I want to defeat them on this new tactic that they have. Because when it comes to talk about different, parts of the conversation where they lead you about, talking about slavery or the Noah's Ark, all this stuff, for all those things, I do have already a defeater, and that's thanks to, me watching your shows and me watching, when you guys used to work on the ACA, volunteer on the ACA, I learned, how to, counteract any of those, arguments that they made. They got no base, no scientific base. But it's just like the only thing that they throw me out of balance is when we touch the part about, what denomination they follow and everything, and they changed. I mean, like, wow. It's amazing, when you live, as long as I've been, it's not like, I'm a really, really, really old person, but you see the change of society from, I am this denomination, I'm that denomination, now they don't want to say it. But that's why I find strange.
That's kind of the amazing thing, though, isn't it? I mean, that's why we say you respect the person, you don't necessarily respect the idea, because you give people the opportunity, the chance, and the understanding that they can grow and that they can change. I absolutely agree with V that you got to go step at a time with them. I don't think it's necessarily a tactic that's being employed with a purpose there. I think that anytime you have a group of people that self-identify, just, okay, cool. If somebody says that they're a vegan, are you going to say, no, you're not? I have a defeater for that. No. But if they're going to say, here's my vegan argument, and you want to argue with them about that, sure, great. But if you're talking about the label someone gives the group that they belong to, there's not they're not wrong. If someone says they're a Catholic, you can't go, no, you're wrong. You can say, okay, well, let's talk about what's wrong about your beliefs. Or what's wrong about, the Catholic Church or whatever. But if somebody says I'm this denomination or that denomination, they're probably right, at least as far as they're concerned. And, who cares? Let that be the opening statement. Don't let that be something that you feel you need to argue, as much as just understanding it, as much as they have brown hair or that they like strawberry ice cream. It's just cool. You like strawberry ice cream. Let's talk about why you're wrong.
I had kind of a conversation with a good friend of mine, and it didn't end up well. I just was trying to. That conversation ended up. You know what? I understand. Why you are annoying with me, because the worst nightmare for the Christian is an atheist that read the Bible and understand the Bible, and I didn't like that. But I understand. But hey, I appreciate the information that I got from you guys, and it's very valuable for me. And that's the way I'm gonna handle it from this point on. Like I said, the issue is not. The issue is why they don't want to, say, what denomination are when they used to do that in the past. That's the thing that throw me out of balance. What they make them change to, and I'm not talking about, one particular, people from one particular denomination. In general, they don't want to say it.
I agree.
No matter where they come from.
It might just be that they're being honest with you. Because over here in Texas, dude, I got to tell you, man, when I first came out here before V, I was getting into two-stepping, learning how to dance, in
put a stop to that real fast.
No, anyway, I would go, but I didn't have a dance partner. And so anytime you go to like an old timey dance hall out here in Texas, there's a line of little old ladies that are just waiting to dance. You do not need to have a dance partner. You show up, you find a little old lady, you're going to go dance. And so I would go and I would learn to dance with these little old ladies. And inevitably they'd be like, oh, how old are you? Oh, are you single? Oh, yeah, actually I am. Oh, I have the perfect person for you. What church do you go to? They weren't saying they had a personal relationship if I wasn't going to their church. I was honest. I said, I'm actually an atheist. And they went, never mind.
And this dance is over.
So I mean, let's celebrate the fact that there are more of them and that the people who you're dealing with sound like they're being honest with you and with themselves. But we're not yet ready to say that we've crossed the finish line when it comes to that specific bit. But yeah, no, everybody in the comments is saying, hey, this is the rise of the nuns. This is the rise of more people recognizing that their views don't necessarily line up with their churches. And it doesn't mean that they're ready to ditch their beliefs, but more are willing to separate themselves from the label of that, denomination identity.
Yeah.
That's the thing that they're doing right now that they didn't used to do in the past. And it's funny because it's not like it's coming from one side or the other. I notice in general many people don't want to, say, oh, I'm this or that. And it's amazing, how things evolve simultaneously in that way, because it wasn't like that in the past.
Absolutely.
Right now.
Yeah, I think as a society globally, we're moving into hopefully a place of a little more nuance. So we don't just all have this single identity that we assume everyone else has as well. Derek, thank you for calling in. This was a good conversation.
Yeah, to share all your information. Thank you. It was a pleasure talking to you guys again. I spoke to you like months ago.
Yeah.
So, hey, thanks for everything.
Absolutely. Bye.
I like Derek.
Yeah. Derek asks good questions. Somebody says that the clicks are the burn, and Eric and V must go on a quest to the future to stop it. Yes.
I'm in.
A beleaguered Kelpian is responsible for all of this. All right.
Yes.
We've got a couple more calls.